Hey guys, welcome back to Thinktwice, the weekly show where we talk about things going on in the world of Magic the Gathering, gaming, and pop culture. For episode 35, as always, I'm your host, Justin Parnell, joined by my co-host, Ali Aintrazi.
What's up, guys? What's up, Parnell? How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Good, good. How's your week?
Actually good. I went to visit my parents in South Carolina last weekend. So the South Carolina part is not as good, but the visiting parents part is good.
South Carolina? That's not that far from me.
It is, because it's in Myrtle Beach, so it's still like 3 hours away from you.
You know what's weird?
What?
You see my parents hundreds of times. I've never seen your parents.
That's because that's because you live in this like almost the same city as your parents.
It's true.
My parents live 6 hours away from me.
That is also true.
So it's a bit longer of a haul for you to go to your parents' house than it is for me to go to my parents' house. I see my parents like 4 times a year. You see your parents like
every week almost.
Yeah, like 4 times a month.
Yeah, usually. Every week, every other week, something like that.
But that was my weekend.
Well, I'm just getting ready for basically Hex. Hex has a new set coming out. It's called Doombringer. Has a bunch of like
Doom Ringer or Doom Bringer?
Doombringer.
Okay.
The bringer of doom, like the Reaper, but doom. Anyways, I'm sure if you guys like play Hearthstone or any other TCG, Eternal, whatever you guys play,
Magic. You know.
Yeah, right. But
if you play Magic, I don't know if you guys do or not.
But I'm saying like I was gonna say not only Magic's like obviously Magic spoilers are exciting, but it's also exciting to see like Hearthstone spoilers or Eternal spoilers or Hex spoilers. And
yes.
Hex is more like Magic than any other game I've played.
It is. It's like almost exactly like it.
Right. So like the cards are like, obviously I'm evaluating them how I evaluate for standard. There goes Bruce just going crazy.
That's right. That's right. We love us some Bruce.
We do love some Bruce. But
he is much more excited about these Hex spoilers than I am.
He is. He's just going crazy. He's like, I want that card. I want this card. But anyways, I want to talk about one card. Just one card real quick.
Okay, sure. Go right ahead.
All right,
Can you put it in Magic terms for us?
Yes.
Okay, just pretend it's a Magic card.
This is a Magic card. It costs 7 colorless mana.
Got it.
So same amount of mana as Karn. It's a 7/7.
Okay, yes.
It's indestructible.
Okay.
When it comes into play,
yep,
it haunting echoes both players' decks, including lands.
So, for each card in your graveyard, you search your deck and remove everything that matches that name.
But you keep one of everything. So basically, what it does is it scans your deck. The first forest it sees keeps the forest. Any other forest it sees in your deck, it exiles them.
Wait. So you don't have to have anything in your graveyard?
Nothing in your graveyard. It just scans the deck and that's it.
So it's not at all like Haunting Echoes.
Okay. Well, I know what it's like. This card's weird. So basically, like it goes through your deck. It leaves one copy of every card in your deck. It basically turns your deck into a commander deck.
Okay. Okay, I get it. So this card wants you to play Commander.
It forces you to play Commander.
Yes, it forces you to play Commander.
If you're not playing Commander, you are playing Commander after it resolves.
Okay.
Even with your lands.
I can get down with that. I can get down with that. Except for the basics, that's pretty brutal.
To be fair, by the time it comes down, it's probably fine. But it's crazy. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, you can do all sorts of like crazy stuff. So, it's basically like a mill card too, because like you can like maybe like mill them. Like play like one like big mill card.
So basically, okay. So you're basically punished if you're playing a consistent deck with like 4-ubs, but if you're playing a Highlander deck already, it doesn't do anything.
Well, yeah. Let's play a Highlander deck with 4 of that guy. Because you resolve him, he's like, all right, Highlander time.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. So, but we also have. Dominarias.
Yeah, we have
Dominaria spoilers.
We do.
We're enough about Hex. We have Dominaria spoilers.
All right, enough about Hex.
So last week, the question of the week was, quite simply, did you look at the release notes that Wizards of the Coast released after the accidental leak, last week?
Basically, it's see no evil.
But 82% of you did see evil. I was in that group, so I can't say anything. the craziest thing out of the almost 700 people, 696 people that voted in this poll, 14% of you said you did not look, and
I'm part of that 14%. I still
you
okay,
looked.
no, I looked.
Okay.
At,
you're in the lying percent.
You're right. I did afterwards. I did look after Wizards released it. It said, "Hey, it's official. You guys can look." I did look.
I'm impressed by the 14% of people that did not look. Honestly, I think that is an outrageous show of restraint that I don't think that obviously most people could do. 82% of people can't do. So good on you. As we said before. So ironically, as last week we were saying that we were not going to say any spoilers on Thinktwice until Wizards of the Coast officially had announced those cards. So of course, immediately after I said that, Ollie was like, "But I got to tell you this one card."
It's true.
And then he talked about Land War Elves. During the time that we were recording the podcast, Aaron Forsyth publicly previewed Land War Elves.
Yeah.
So bailed Ollie out, even though he didn't deserve it.
Ding.
But going forward again, until it's previewed through an actual channel. So at this point, I think the
Phyrexian thing is
the Phyrexian Scriptures, I believe is the name of it. I could be wrong. Is the only preview card. We're not going to talk about that card today because we're going to wait till a few more are previewed. But good on you, 14% that didn't look. We'll try to make it fun for you as you continue to watch the show. So, Ollie, you ready to get into our first segment?
Oh, I am more than ready. I'm sure you are too. I'm
ready. I'm getting a little anxious.
Okay.
This is
all right.
This is something that is something I've spent a lot of time talking about and thinking about. So we're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna mentally prepare myself, and when we return, we're gonna talk about some reserve list. So last week, Dominaria happened on an accident.
It happened regardless.
It did happen regardless. We were prepared, and I was prepared to kind of give my point of view on the reserve list last week. But of course, we kind of had to talk about the hot thing of the moment, which is that happening. But this week, maybe it feels more appropriate because as most people are listening or watching this show, Masters 25 is releasing. Masters 25 comes out on Friday the 16th, which is, for us, it's tomorrow. For most people, it's either today or yesterday. This is where it kind of is. I don't even know where to begin. I feel very strongly about the reserve list and its existence.
Yeah.
And I guess it's, as I've seen these cards, I think what this set could have been and what all Masters set could be.
Yeah.
You look at Magic Online, and they are not impeded by the fact that a reserve list exists, because it doesn't for Magic Online. So you're able to have Vintage Masters. You're able to have all the different sets, like the Tempest Remastered that comes out that has reserved list cards in them, but of course they're not in physical form, so they can just do that.
Yes. Yeah, and you can't obviously redeem them or anything.
You can't redeem them. I believe
this topic's also always revisited during Master Set. I think I feel like every time Master Set comes out, people are like, the reserve list pops up. The topic of the reserve list.
You know why? Because if the reserve list didn't exist, these Master Sets could be the thing they were meant to be, and maybe not meant to be, because Wizards knows that the reserve list is in place and they're not able to reprint cards. But I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let me start over. I want to start from the beginning of the reserve list, from the inception of the reserve list.
Tell us, why was it made? Why do we even have a reserve list?
So it actually comes from the very first Master Set.
Okay. Which was what?
Chronicles.
Okay.
Chronicles. So Chronicles is a set that came out in 1995.
All right.
Chronicles, in essence, was literally the very first Master Set. It was actually a reprint set that reprinted cards from every set in Magic at that point of time. and reprinted a lot of good cards. Well, good as far as Wizards was concerned. Some of the more notable cards that reprinted: Blood Moon, City of Brass, Concordant Crossroads. There's a handful of good cards in that set, but a lot of them have kind of been lost to time and reprint value, depressing their value on the secondary market.
Right. So
when this happened, people freaked out because even though Chronicles was was reprinted as a white bordered set, where all of these cards had previously been originally printed as a black bordered set, Chronicles was so overprinted that it caused a lot of the value of these cards to plummet. Coupled with the fact that 4th edition came out in a short time afterwards, which reprinted a lot more cards that appeared, in some of these sets previously.
Yeah.
People cried out like, "You're ruining the value of our cards. You're hurting the game." And at that point, that could have been true. Wizards at that time was a fledgling company. It had only been around for a couple years. Again, this is 2 years into Magic's existence. So it's not even like that many cards had been released. Chronicles printing was significantly more than any other set that came before it.
Right.
So the fact that this was was overprinted had more to do with the issue of previous sets being printed significantly less rather than the Chronicles being printed significantly more. But either way, Wizards stepped in. They were like, you know what? We're gonna make a promise. Again, 2 years into their existence, we're going to make a promise that the most expensive cards, which at that time they were just like rares and some select uncommons, from all sets that we print going forward, for the most part, we're not going to reprint. So,
what a crazy thing to do.
It was. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of water. So I don't...
Yeah, no, go ahead. So I imagine they're thinking, we have like a small amount of players. We want to keep them appeased, we want to keep them happy. They've lost value. They've obviously didn't think it through, because if you want to grow your game, why would you limit the? So they're saying, let's appease these people that are playing, the people that are paying money to buy these cards. You know what? Let's make them happy, and so the reserve list comes into play, and in reality, it's like probably one of the worst mistakes Wizards has ever done, if not the worst mistake. I think.
Yes, I will share my full opinions in a second.
Sure.
So after they did that, some time goes by, and they keep releasing sets, and of course they did that because they were saying not only the players that they had, but the players that they were hoping to get. They're saying, if you come into our game and buy sealed product or trade for cards or buy cards on the secondary market, which of course was a large factor in this. Wizards doesn't like to talk about the secondary market much anymore. But at the time, obviously, that played a huge role in the creation of this. They were like, these cards that you're purchasing, that you're acquiring by any means, these are going to retain their value because we're going to make sure in their regular form they don't get printed again. So, and at that time, the regular form meant non-foil, magic card sized cards, or functional reprints. So you couldn't print.
A snow-covered tundra or snow-covered.
You couldn't print Underground Sea that was called,
snow-covered Underground Sea.
Underground Cavern, and just be the same card.
Sure.
So that continued, and then in 2002, they decided to revise the reserve list, and they were like, you know what? I think we've gone a little too far. We're actually going to stop adding cards to the reserve list as of Marcadian Mask, which came out a couple of years prior, 2000. Mm-hmm. And people were like, "Oh, okay. Well, this kind of makes sense because these cards are kind of getting expensive, but we still want to play with them. And expensive then, not meaning expensive now. I couldn't even put a price tag on." But again, this game had not been out 10 years yet.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary, which makes this conversation extremely poignant, especially now.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, we're going to stop putting cards on the reserve list, and we're gonna take off some other cards because this is our, we're announcing, we're letting you know that we're taking off some cards. And it wasn't even any rares; it was just some uncommons. So they took off like Demonic Tutor, Berserk, cards that are really good but weren't rares.
Right.
Okay, so that continued on, and they were able to kind of reprint cards in different forms going forward. So that's why you have a Gaia's Cradle that's a foil because it was a judge foil. So they didn't reprint it as a non-foil, so it wasn't an exact reprint. So they kind of circumvented the rules that they made. No one was really upset about that. Then they get to 2010, and this is continued. They haven't added a card to the reserve list, and then they say, okay, so now we've decided that because we said specifically we're not going to reprint it in the exact form, we're going to reprint. We're going to be. We feel like we can reprint cards on the reserve list in premium versions. So that's why you've seen. I think the inception of this coming out was Phyrexian Negator in the Phyrexian versus Coalition set. And this is actually the card that they showed, and they were like, "This is what we're going to do because it's not in its regular form. It's not the original art, so it's not going to decrease the value of these cards." So, and this, in my opinion, is actually the critical time that destroyed the reserve list, or the fact that it destroyed its, I guess, the fact that it could never go away, is that people freaked out. They actually had a year from 2010 till 2011 where Wizards reprinted a lot of cards on the reserve list in foil versions that were not given out like they were in judge versions, in judge versions like the Gaia's Cradle, but something you could actually purchase at a retailer. This is a lot different for something that's given out for doing something because that's more promotional. So over that year, they actually reprinted several cards, and again, people didn't like it. And this is, I can't express how small of a minority it was that felt like this, but a small vocal minority nonetheless. And in 2011, Wizards is like, okay, we've decided any card that's on the reserve list, we are never, ever going to print again, regardless of foil, regardless of art. Anything. If it's on the reserve list, you're never going to see it again.
They literally just solidified they've
solidified their stance.
They put their nail in the coffin.
This is 2 years prior to Modern Masters, the original one in 2013 coming out. So from 2013 and every year since, there's been a conversation. Are you going to get rid of the reserve list? Are you going to get rid of the reserve list? And the answer has been no. And every single time they've had to go back and say, to reiterate, this is going to stay forever. We've made a promise to our consumers that we're not going to reprint these cards, so we're not.
Yeah. Like, I don't even know.
Okay, so why is the reserve list bad? Some people are asking. I would imagine that a lot of you... Go ahead, Ali.
I'll say, in my opinion, it's bad because it, in a way, kills a format that is actually great. Vintage is a format that I thought was being a person that doesn't play Vintage, like, oh, this is a format that's silly. People combo off of turn one. They have Lotus. They have power. It's just who draws their power first. It's why would I play Vintage? This is a stupid format, anyways. Someone saying something that I was basically giving a fact online. I was saying something that I had no idea what I was saying, which everyone does.
Of course.
So this is what I was doing. And then I actually was introduced to some Vintage by you. Then I played some games, just it being having proxies, and the games are nothing like that. So sure, there are games where you lose turn 1 or turn 3 or turn 2, whatever, because you're playing a storm or something. But traditionally, no. Traditionally, you do not lose that quickly, and the games are very interactive. You do have some explosive turns, but they're nothing like I drew back so I won the game. It was actually super fun. And then I started wishing I could play, and then I realized I can't play, and it's just it sucks. It sucks. The most iconic card in Magic, people is Black Lotus. Jason, my sculptor.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to say. Is I actually think that the most iconic card in Magic is Jason Mind Sculptor.
I was going to say though, the only reason Jason Mind Sculptor is the most iconic card is because of the reserve list. Black Lotus, hands down, the iconic card. But because people can't get it anymore, Jason Mind Sculptor is the most iconic card in Magic now.
I think if you started playing the game before Jace was printed, it's Black Lotus, and afterwards it's probably Jace.
Maybe.
I mean, I actually don't think this is about vintage, and I'm someone to let you guys know where I'm coming from.
Same, but yeah, I mean, it's also Legacy too. But go ahead.
I'm someone that plays Vintage and Legacy as my two primary competitive formats. I actually own a lot of the cards that I'm discussing. I own almost a playset of all of the dual lands from Unlimited, not even from Revised, so they're even a little bit more. They're more expensive. I own multiple Lotuses. I own a set of Power. I own Workshops. A lot of other cards that are on the reserve list. And so you're saying, well, if these cards were reprinted, wouldn't these lose value? Yes, sure, they would. But how much value? And what does value mean? I think that removing the reserve list and getting rid of it removes the ceiling that the reserve list has created for Magic to allow it to flourish as a game naturally. People say that the reserve list is keeping the economy of the most expensive cards intact. I think that's not true. I actually think Modern is the best example of this. Over the last 8 years since Modern has existed, you have seen card prices for that format get outrageous.
Yeah.
I think the average Modern deck right now costs like $2,300.
Absurd.
Which is insane. That's like multiple pieces of power. But yet these cards have been continually reprinted, and not every single card has been reprinted, but we've had now 6 master sets. 6. I don't have that many fingers to say we have 6 master sets. And yet these cards continue to go up. Karn, Liliana, Jace, Mox Opal, all of these are like $100 cards. Ugin is now reaching $100.
Even Termagant, like he's not even played really, and he's like still
yeah, that's
pricey.
Almost $100 card, yeah, and that's been reprinted 4 times now.
Yeah, and the card's not even played. Like I guess now slowly picking up play because of Bloodbraid Elf, but before it was like wasn't even played really, and the card is still like outrageously priced.
And the reason for that is because a lot of people play Modern. I want to play with the cards that I have. I understand that I spent a lot of money to get these cards, and I don't consider myself a collector. I'm a player. I own these cards to play with them. I want the ability to do that more. I also know, and this is not just coming from me as a player, this is coming from me as a financial expert in this game. I understand, because we've seen the data over the course of the last 8 years and plus, original printings of cards, especially old cards, carry a premium. This is why Alpha Black Lotus is more than a Beta Black Lotus. This is why a Beta Black Lotus is more than an Unlimited Black Lotus. Even if these cards are reprinted, would the short-term value make these cards worth less money? Yes. Is it going to tank them? Absolutely not. You're not going to, obviously, Black Lotus is the craziest example because it's the most expensive card in Magic at its height. Whatever set it's in, between Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, it's the most expensive card in that set, especially compared to other cards. But even something like Mox Sapphire, these are currently even at their cheapest several $100s. And I understand that these cards are going to lose value, but once you open the game up and you allow it to grow naturally and say, you can play whatever format you find the most fun, not one that is limited by the fact that you don't have $10,000 to $20,000 hanging around to play it, means that these cards are not only going to grow back in value, but be able to open up an entirely new set of cards that are valuable. Again, I understand that I would lose money, but I'm not really, because I'm playing. One, I'm playing with the cards that I own, which is the purpose of me owning them. 2, I don't intend to sell these, and even if I did, it's not like we exist in a world where we play a game we can get money back out of, which is very rare. If you go and buy, I guess most games are not physical now, but like video games, most are digital. Let's say you bought a copy of the most recent Call of Duty game for PS4, right? Yeah. And you go to a GameStop and you try to trade it in. How much do you get for that? Like $15?
If that, I guess. Yeah.
This is the closest analog for a return on when we're spending our time on. There's supposedly like a million, I don't know, like 10 million, 20 million people that play Magic worldwide. Yet, how many people play in tournaments? How many people have the opportunity to do that?
Yeah, not nearly enough.
And even if it was, well, I don't know where they are. I apologize. I'm going to take another sip.
You're fine.
But having access to these type of cards is not something people even consider. And let's take it down a notch. What if I'm not even talking about Moxen? What if I'm talking about Gaia's Cradle? Because you play Commander. Not you, but, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
A person.
Yes.
A person plays Commander. Or Wheel of Fortune. These cards are cards under the current reserve list that are never going to see the light of day again. You're never going to be able to have a cube product. Ever. Because there's so many reserve list cards, not even ones that are expensive, but something like Treachery. That's on the reserve list. That's not ever going to get reprinted. It's not that it's outrageously expensive like some of the other cards we've named, but yet again, something that's on the reserve list. You have a lot of cool cards that are on the reserve list too. That again are of course going to lose their value if they're reprinted. But if that's the purpose of having the reserve list, is to protect the people that feel like they're losing money because they've invested in Magic. They've invested in Magic because they feel like it's going to make them money, not because they want the game to grow.
Yeah,
because the reserve list is purposely stifling the growth of the game for the finances of people that don't actually care about the game itself. And
I agree with that.
And I know I'm probably offending some people when I say that, but if you are in favor of keeping the reserve list, you are saying it's okay that this game can't grow past a certain point as long as it doesn't cost me money personally.
Absolutely. Like it's also, yeah, it's absolutely that. It's absolutely selfish. It's like you are literally choking formats out. Like, I know, like, if people have followed me in the past, you guys, I've tweeted or said how much I dislike Legacy. And the reason it being is it's not because of like the format's not fun. It's because I can't play it. Like, I don't want to pay $1,000 or whatever for one card that you need for a deck. I know that's like basically I'm talking about Tabernacle. Like, I think Lands is an awesome deck.
That's more than 1,000.
Well, whatever.
But sure, goes to your point.
Whatever it is now. Like, that is a deck that, like, I like playing Lands. I like playing more than one. I like playing Exploration. I like playing Mana Bond. I like playing like that type of strategy, and just winning very like obscurely. Like, you're winning with like literally just lands. It's sweet, and I like that. But I can realistically personally right now I can't really get into it. Like, the only way I can afford that deck is if like I win a tournament or tax return and have nothing else to spend on. As a father, as a person as an adult, as a person living without anybody else, basically being an adult, it's like it's very hard to do that. It's very hard to do that, and that sucks. Like, even buying a play set of Underground Seas, how much is that now? Like
$2,000.
Yeah, that's absurd. Like, that right there just deters me from even looking at Legacy, even though I know it can be a fun format, and that's the reason I hate Legacy, because it's like it's someone going, oh,
you feel like you're priced out of it before you even step in the door.
Yeah, it's like, hey, look at this shiny thing, look at these cool thing you can do in Magic. It's like showing you a prize, like, yeah, but you can't have it, and it's just like it's basically like teasing you to the point of like, okay, well, you know what? I just don't like you. I don't care. Even if I think I do want to try that or want to play with that, I'm not going to, because I'd rather hate you than buy 2 decks or whatever. Like,
sure.
It's very hard now to explain. But there was even time like when Justin Parnell and I played a Sweet Turns deck in Legacy with like Maloku the Cloud Mirror, Time Warp, Mental Misstep, a super awesome deck. Like
Tropical Island,
Tropical Island, Constant Mists, and that was some of the most fun I've played in like Magic history, not just like Magic history, and that just can't happen anymore. Like, I don't even bother to like brew or mess around in those formats because I'll never play them. and that's just like that's kind of depressing.
You know, a lot of you know, of course, some of you are probably asking, okay, so let's say we get rid of the reserve list, then what? Then what do you do? If you make a booster pack product that's going to have these former reserve list cards in them, if you put a set of 10 dual lands into a booster pack product, how expensive are those booster packs going to be? Like, there's no MSRP that doesn't just, because it's not about, you know, you don't want to slaughter the prices. Like, just because you can doesn't mean you will. It took so long. It took 23 years for Wizards to reprint Mana Drain in a booster pack product. Mana Drain not on the reserve list. They just haven't done it. They've had restraint to do so. So it would be difficult even if that happened, because how do you get Black Lotus? And of course, I'm going to again use this as an example. How do you get that out? How do you reprint that to allow people to have their hands on those? Like, how do you get them to people? Because if you, again, booster packs would not work. Sealed products don't work. Maybe it is something you do as some sort of promotion. Maybe you do it like you do Vintage Masters and you have them in booster packs, but they're extremely rare, so they don't appear. They're even rarer than Mythic rares, so they're still difficult to get a hold of. But you know, it's not going to be $6,000-$7,000 for just one card.
Yeah, or even doing back treasures. Back when they did the inventions or treasures in Zendikar, I know those cards weren't reprints, like the Lotuses and the Tropical Island and the...
Yeah, those were the actual cards.
They were actual cards, but they were so rare, hard to find. They're so hard to get.
Well, yeah, they were rare enough that Wizards still denies that they did that. But, I mean, it's... I understand the difficulty.
Wait, denies they did what?
The hidden treasures in Zendikar.
That was
They've never publicly came out and said that they did that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yep. They or the avenues for abolishment are also difficult, because it's not exactly a Band-Aid ripping off type thing. You probably have to set a date and say, after this date,
yeah, absolutely,
we're abolishing the reserve list and we have the opportunity to reprint these cards.
Yes.
I don't want to get. I could talk about the legalese portion of this, and how people could. There's the suggestions that people could put together a class action lawsuit against Wizards if they did this, basically saying that this is something that you promised and you're going back on that and we're losing a lot of money. Again, if you're worried about the money part, if you've bought cards to hoard them, to resell them, and you've chosen Magic as your outlet to do that, you care about money, you don't care about Magic. Don't get the two confused. That's fine. Just know that that's where you are. And maybe if that's the case, maybe it's time for you to go and invest in something else. Because the people that love this game, like myself, that have these reserve list cards, want this game to grow. I want to be able to play with my cards. I want to be able to play with my best friend in a format that I love, but I can't do that right now. Anyway, I also want to be clear that this is not only me, Justin Parnell, saying this as co-host of Thinktwice, as Commander versus personality. This is actually me as someone who owns reserve list cards and who is the acquisitions manager at Star City Games. Star City Games officially, and again, this is me saying this officially as Star City Games, we're in favor of abolishing the reserve list. We don't want it to exist. We think it is putting a ceiling, an unnatural ceiling over the growth of the game. We want to see the game grow. All of us, especially the people that are involved in making a lot of the card buying and selling decisions. Myself, Assistant General Manager John Suarez, General Manager Ben Bly, Vice President Pete Hoffling. We all are in favor of abolishing the reserve list. This isn't just me saying it again. This is our stance as a company, and I'm just reinforcing it here.
That's awesome.
I know I ranted a lot in this segment, so
no, it's something you feel passionate about.
I'll cool it off. I'll cool it off in the next one.
I just want to, before we move anywhere else, I just want to say, like,
go ahead.
Right now, they've announced I believe like a Pro Tour that's Legacy, right? And you obviously can't do. You obviously can't really do that though. Like you can't do too many of those. How many people are going to watch the Pro Tour, and what if they get attached to a deck in Legacy? Like, oh my god, look at that deck.
A lot of people.
Okay, and then say like, oh look at that Legacy deck, it's so sweet, or this format looks great, I want to play this format. Then look at it, it's like, hey, this is like a down payment on a car or some cars even. And like how sweet would it be just to watch a vintage Pro Tour? That'll never happen. Never happen because
that will never happen.
You cannot expect the Pro Tour competitor to go out and buy $10,000 worth of cards to play in an event. But like
yeah, it would be unreasonable.
Yeah, like I even think Legacy's like I think you're pushing with Legacy. Like I think that's like not fair either. But like the reserve list is a virus.
I think it was a decision that was made by a company that hadn't existed for very long, that thought they were doing something to protect their game and didn't understand the long-term consequences. They couldn't see 25 years down the line.
No.
I don't think they could see 10 years down the line. Because when you have something that's growing, you have to do whatever you can to make sure you're like, I just want to protect this so it can grow. But you don't think, I want to protect this in a way that helps it grow. Because the two things, trying to protect something so nothing hurts it, rather than saying, you know what, I want this game to be as great as it possibly can be. It's almost impossible to see that 2 years into the game existing. So I don't blame Wizards for the decision.
No.
But you can't double, triple, quadruple down.
It's like being the overprotective parent that protects their child.
That's exactly what it is.
And the child is just like, I don't get into either, but yes, the reserve. I'm also agreeing that the reserve list needs to go. I was saying like, just give some sort of announcement, like 5, 10 years, X years, the reserve list will be gone.
I'm fine with that.
Whatever. Just give them a heads up. I don't care. Just give a timeline. Preferably before I'm super old. Like I'm already getting some gray hairs here, but like
that's true.
Let's make it not too long.
It's more than you think.
Yeah.
All right. Ali, any other thoughts on the reserve list? I have a billion, but if you want to talk with me about it, feel free to contact me at jparnell1 on Twitter. Okay. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to calm myself. When we come back, we're going to talk our predictions for the Dominaria Magic story. Ollie, we have one more week for Magic Story to return because Wizard pulled a fast one and they were like, we're going to do it next week.
Yeah, they did. Which made me a little sad.
But you know what? It gave us a week to finalize our boldest predictions
of the year
for Dominaria and beyond. Potentially for the entire year.
That's crazy.
It could be quite possibly for the year, maybe for our lives.
Get hyped.
All right, so you and I are each going to run down our top 3 predictions for where Magic Story is going to go. This doesn't even necessarily have to be specifically tied to Dominaria, but obviously we're getting ready to start a new chapter in Magic Story, so...
This is mostly going to tie to Dominaria. Or not really, but yes.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right, you want to start or you want me to start?
I'm ready.
Right, go ahead. Hey, okay.
Last time you were going... It's my turn now.
All
right,
go ahead.
Here we go. I think Liliana will defeat her last demon. I think defeating her last demon will make her like more calm and relaxed. Of course, like still be like a bit selfish, but there's no more demons hanging over your head. Have your soul like that's stressful. I can imagine how stressful that is. So now that's gone. She will relax some. She will be maybe open the idea of like liking Jace or. Maybe even like taking out some more walls for her emotions, and I think she might try that. And then she's gonna find out about Veraska, and how Jace and her have like a thing going on, and that's gonna be it. She's going to. The dark is gonna turn more dark, and she's gonna like be. That's when she might help Bolus out or turn on the Gatewatch inadvertently for herself. Like maybe like she's like, okay, Bolus wants me to do this. I'm gonna do it. Hurts the Gatewatch a little bit, but I'm not doing it to hurt the Gatewatch. I'm doing it for myself. So I think that might happen. That's one of my predictions.
That was like 12 predictions.
Was it?
I'm gonna say one part. All right. I think that once she defeats Belzenlock, ultimately, she is going to become one with the Chain Veil and she will be consumed by its power and then her power. I don't think she's going to turn on the Gatewatch per se, but she's going to go full, spoiler alert for Star Wars The Last Jedi. I'm not going to keep doing this much longer, guys. She's going to go full Kylo Ren and just want to defeat Bolus on her own, thinks that she can do it, and then just be like, I want to rule everything, and then be like, Jace.
What was
Kylo.
That? Oh, the hand thing?
He holds the hand out.
Got it.
He holds, you saw the movie.
All right, well,
everyone saw the movie. He holds the hand out.
Can you do it again?
No, I won't do it again. You have to go back and watch.
All right. Well, I was gonna reach for your hand, but all right.
Well, no, but I don't think Jason's going to reach for her hand. I think he's going to be like, you're crazy. And since I'm really cool guy now after the Ixalan story and everyone likes me, I'm not going to go with you.
Dun dun dun. Okay. All right.
My prediction. For Dominaria story. No, that was off of your prediction. That wasn't my prediction.
Oh, okay.
For my prediction, I think we're going to see a lot of flashbacks to past times and past characters that happened on Dominaria.
Like time bubbles?
Not like time bubbles necessarily, but I think they're going to use this story to flesh out a lot of the backstory that, as we have covered in the last 2 weeks, has been very confusing. So I think we're gonna see some like Urza's story, maybe not in full, but we're definitely gonna see some flashbacks in Teferi, Karn's, and Jorah's story. I think it's almost a lock that we're gonna get a lot of this stuff fleshed out, which I'm really, really excited.
I hope so. Please let me know. Let me know the deets on Urza and Yawgmoth. Give me the full deets.
I think we're gonna get some deets. I think we're definitely headed for some deets.
I'm ready. Sure. I'm ready for some deets.
Okay, you're number 2.
All right. So we know the slogan, the whatever you want to call it is gather legends. Just like grab them all up.
The motto, the set motto.
Yeah. So make sure I'm grabbing legend right now. Hold on a second. Sorry. So make sure you
gather
all the legends. Why? I think some people are going to want to defeat Mr. Bolus here. I think other ones want to combat the Phyrexians. Like the two big bad right now are the Phyrexians and Bolus.
Yes, the third bad has been put on ice for now.
By herself. Even though she's like, even without she's a bad, but sure.
She iced herself.
She can be seen as, anyways, yes. I think Karn is going to be probably more focused on the Phyrexians. Also, he's still kind of pacifist. He's not like all about fighting. And also, he's done some damage from his oil leaking heart in the past. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to gather legends for Bolus, expand the Gatewatch. I think the Gatewatch will obviously go to try and battle Bolus, but I believe we will see an arc for Karn, basically. So we will see Karn do the Phyrexia thing first. So basically what I'm trying to say is...
Yeah, what are you trying to say?
I'm basically trying to say, like, after Dominaria, instead of going from Dominaria to Ravnica, we're going to go Dominaria to New Phyrexia to Ravnica.
Okay, so you combined your number 2 and your number 1 thing that you're going to say.
No.
Oh, you've changed it, and you haven't told me about it.
Oh no, I haven't changed it, but yeah, you're right.
Okay, so you did combine.
It's okay, but I'm gonna expand on your number 1 anyway, so that's fine.
Okay, fine. So, I do think that Karn is more concerned about Phyrexians, and Teferi specifically doesn't want to have anything to do with battling Phyrexians, but obviously has had a past with Bolus, as we covered last week. So I can see that.
He's got a grudge to grind. Teferi lost to Bolus.
He did. In the past. Speaking of Phyrexians, though, you were adamant that we were going to see Phyrexians as a story. I said I didn't think that we were. However, I want to amend that just a taintus bit.
Okay.
I think at the very, very, very end of the story, we're going to see some sort of life, kind of like a post-credit scene, if you will. Like a Dominaria Magic Story post-credit scene that has to do with some sort of Phyrexian something.
Like that.
That's Nicol Bolas.
But just sneaking up, like, out of nowhere. Like, movie's done, but now there's oil or some
yeah, something like that, something like
yeah.
that. So I think we're definitely going to see that at some point.
Yep, I agree with that.
Ollie, do you want to expand on your number one, even though you somehow jumped your own shark and
I know I got too excited. See, this is a problem for me. I get excited too easily. I just like let it all out.
Because this was a good one. I thought this was going to be a good one for you.
Well, yeah. So basically, I do think we will go back to revisit New Phyrexia before we visit.
So
Bolus. That could be because Karn wants to do something, or we figure out why. See, Bolus freed the Eldrazi. Bolus had Tezzeret spy on the Phyrexians. He didn't intervene. He had him spy. Maybe we learn, hey, Bolus wants to do something with the Phyrexians, and Karn is like, you know what? I'm not gonna fight Bolus, but I'm gonna stop him from doing what he wants to do with the Phyrexians. This is my job. I will stop the Phyrexians. You guys can go battle Bolus, but the Phyrexians is my fault. Bolus wants to do something with the Phyrexians. I will stop that. Good luck. Godspeed.
So we know we're going to return to Ravnica. We're going to return to Ravnica. RTRTR.
Maybe.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Well, we know we are eventually.
Sure. Well, that is the last. That's like Plan Z, the last spot for
Bolus's final
stage.
Yeah, his final form, if you will, or if you won't, it's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I like that.
So you think we're going to go back to New Phyrexia before we go to Ravnica?
Correct.
Okay. I think I can get on board with that.
Okay, of course, because I'm a genius.
Well, actually, it was me that said we weren't going to go back to Ravnica until next year, and it was you that said we were going to go back this year. So
told you so.
You're actually agreeing with me, right?
Nope, told you so.
Got it.
All right.
Okay.
Last one.
My number one prediction. Obviously, this story is going to focus somewhat, in some part, on Liliana. Liliana is from Dominaria. We know. We also know from kind of the synopsis of the Magic story being revealed that Gideon and Dominaria go to Gideon and Liliana go to Dominaria after their defeat at the hands of Nicol Bolas. Liliana's from Dominaria. Her final demon, Belzenlok, has resurrected the Cabal. They're running around. We both think that obviously Liliana and Belzenlok are going to clash, but there's one piece of Liliana that we don't know exactly what's going to happen. And I'm not talking about the Chain Veil necessarily, but the person or the thing that's been around for the entirety of her time as a Planeswalker, literally from the moment her spark ignited, and that is the Raven Man. Now, we don't have a clue who the Raven Man is. Well, I guess we do have some clues.
Says you. I have
but
guesses.
we don't know
correct
who the Raven Man is for sure.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people are expecting that we're going to find out a lot more about the Raven Man in this Dominaria story. And I think that's true. I think we are going to find out a lot more about the Raven Man. But I do not think, this is my number one prediction, I do not think we are going to find out the true identity of the Raven Man in this story.
Okay. I think you might be right, you might be wrong. I'm not sure.
Well, those are the two options.
Right.
That's right. I'm right.
Yes. You're probably right. But I do think I have a prediction on who the Raven Man is.
Okay.
I think we know who the Raven Man is. I think the Raven Man is, people have guessed like Bolas or some Leshak or
Leshrac,
whatever.
Limdol.
Limdol, yeah. No to all those. Scratch all those.
I agree. I think it's not any of those.
I think. All right, guys, sit down.
Okay, hold on.
Sit down. Turn the music down.
Okay, hold on.
Stop texting. All right.
Music is.
All right. Are you done texting?
No, that was music. Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Okay, I've stopped texting.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. I believe that the Raven Man is Ugin, the Spirit Dragon.
State your case.
Okay, so The voice appeared when she became a planeswalker. When she became basically useful to Bolas or Ugin, or basically when she can be used as a pawn. Well, I'll say.
Okay.
We learned Ugin is extremely conniving. He's not the good guy you think he is. He twisted and he, lack of better words, took a big dump on Azor. He played with his emotions. He played into his emotions, and he basically just made him give up his spark because he made him believe he was his friend, and he just didn't care. His goal was he just wants to stop Bolas, and he wants to observe the multiverse in general. He just wants to observe things. I think now he is the Raven Man, and he needs Liliana, or wants Liliana to help him stop Bolas. Because
you think?
Because I think anytime Liliana might die, or is in a bad battle, the Raven Man always stops her. When Liliana's fighting Emrakul, the Raven Man's like, "You are freaking crazy! Emrakul's stronger than you are." Who would know that? It's not. Ugin knows that. Ugin definitely knows that Emrakul's stronger than you are. Back up. You're fighting Nicol Bolas. The mass is saying, "Fight Nicol Bolas, we got it." But the Raven Man is saying, "Yo."
And first of all, it's a chain veil. Put some respect on its name.
The chain veil.
Thank you.
Is saying, we got this. Let's defeat Nicol Bolas. And then the Raven Man is like, "No, chill out. both super strong. What are you doing? Back up." So you could say Nicol Bolas is the Raven Man in that battle, but you can't really say that Nicol Bolas is the Raven Man in the Emrakul battle. I guess I
don't think Nicol Bolas is the Raven Man in any battle, because I don't think he's the Raven.
Right. I think Ugin is. I think Ugin needs something. Or needs her to pawn in some way or something to. I think it's Ugin.
So you think the Raven Man / Ugin, since they're one and the same to you, has been around? Literally, as soon as Liliana's spark ignited, that's when the Raven Man appeared. Do you think Ugin has been around? Obviously, we know he's existed since then. Do you think he just popped up? It's oh, new Planeswalker alert. Better go check this one out. See how I can find it useful to me.
Maybe. I mean, they're the two big guys, right? I feel like it's like we're playing one game of chess. Bolas is on one side, Ugin's on the other side, and they're just playing.
Yeah, I mean, I did that. I agree with that. I mean, that's something that I brought up in the Ixalan story, that it is a big game of chess between Ugin and Bolas, and everyone else is just the pawns.
Or sure, yeah.
So I could see that, but it's just, I don't know. I feel like have Liliana and Ugin had any sort of interaction?
Not really. Not that we know of.
Does Liliana know who Ugin is?
I don't know. To be fair, Liliana's past is kind of vague outside of her becoming a planeswalker. We don't know too much about Liliana.
It's true. I'm trying to think of all the magic stories that we know of with Ugin, and Liliana's not in any of them.
I'm gonna have to go back and reread.
She pretty much skips over all of the parts where Ugin is existing. Jace has interacted with Ugin a lot.
Yes.
You're making me think. I don't believe it, but you're making me think about it.
I think it's Ugin. I will do some research, and I will come back with more evidence of why I think it's Ugin. If I'm wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong. But I do think.
Well, you're definitely wrong.
Do believe? Excuse me.
You're wrong.
Right,
Definitely wrong.
All right. All right. We'll be back here later. Just show them right.
Well, we're not done with the segment. I want to talk more.
I'm saying later on the story. A couple episodes later.
Okay. I don't think we're gonna, even if it is Ugin.
Yeah.
Let's pretend in pretend land where you're living.
Okay.
That it's Ugin. I still don't think we're gonna find out who it is in this story.
Let me ask you this: do you believe in a thing called love?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I mean kind of.
Okay.
That's a whole different segment.
All right.
But does the Raven Man believe in love, and does the Raven Man believe in? See, okay, I just don't. I don't think it's Ugin. I don't think it's Ugin.
Right.
I think the Raven Man is like
someone what?
God, I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think we've met the Raven
Man?
Man?
That's the thing. I don't see. The thing is, I don't have a better explanation. I just feel like we don't know enough, and I guess I'm gonna be disappointed if it turns out that the Raven Man is someone that we've known this whole time, and they're gonna pop out and be like, "Guess what? I was the Raven Man."
Okay, how about okay? I think it's really great. You know what? This is gonna lead us to our question of the week.
Actually, it's not. We're gonna do that segment at the very end.
This is not leading the question of the week.
It's not, but we are gonna have the question of the week a little bit later.
Okay,
since we've moved it to the end of the show.
You're right. I apologize. I don't know. I think it'd be disappointing to learn that it's some random person that we haven't met yet. Like it'd be so much cooler to be like, oh wow, it was this person the whole time. Even if it's not Ugin, even if it's like
they better make it cool. It better be cool. It better not be.
It was Hazard.
That was kind of lame. It's not. Well, I guess my thing is it's like I don't want it to be a character that we know of, and then like they have to like jump through all these hoops to connect the dots to make it that character.
Maybe it's Ashiok.
That's what I don't want.
I think that'd be cool. First of all, it'd introduce Ashiok.
It'll be cool only if it is cool.
Ashiok is cool in general. I can like Ashiok is cool.
I'm not talking about Ashiok. I'm saying any character. I'm worried that if it is a character we know, they're literally going to jump through all these hoops to show why it's this character, and I'm just going to think it's BS. Not like that it would be BS because it would be fact, but like I think it's really tough to not do in a crappy way. Like I think I would rather have this character that has been that we just don't know anything about, that's more introduced, and have their reasons for everything explained.
What was her brother?
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. That's not her brother. Josu. He's like a zombie guy. That wouldn't make any sense.
The timelines, like he basically popped up in her head as soon as she sparked.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's it.
Okay.
I think it's Ugin sooner than it's her brother.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Ollie, any other thoughts before we head into Magic Story next week?
No, but you should ask this guy too. Bolus?
I don't think Bolus knows.
All right.
I think if Bolus knew, he would have told Liliana to mess with her.
Probably. Bolus like that.
Yeah, Bolus is like that. Okay. All right. We are going to take a short break, but before we go, we're going to throw up a spoiler warning. That's where Director Choi puts the
horn noise.
Yep. Spoiler warning for the action comedy movie we watched last week, Game Night. So, Ollie, we finally got around to watching the movie we talked about watching like 3 weeks ago, which is Game Night, that stars Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this movie was a game night movie.
It was a game night movie, and that's why I wanted to watch it, because this is something that we've done before. We've invited friends over and just played board games competitively for several hours at night, right?
Yeah.
So this is not something that is a foreign concept.
No, not at all.
So I thought it would be interesting. It's a rated R comedy.
Yes.
So movies like that kind of give me a little pause, because it's like, this needs to be a good reason to be rated R. And I actually felt like for Game Night, they actually they straddled that line pretty well, because it's not like they don't use particularly awful language every second of the movie. There's not really there's no sex. There is violence, but it's not like outrageous violence.
It's not like gore. It's not like over. Yeah, it's not too much.
Yeah.
Like
I thought it was. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time. I didn't want my time back.
Yeah, it's weird for me. Like, I enjoyed it kind of, but not.
Okay, that sounds like you did not enjoy it.
I kind of enjoyed it.
It sounds like you're trying to be like game night's in the room with you, and you don't want to hurt game night's feelings.
It's true. It's true.
Just tell game night how you feel.
Game night, I thought you were okay, but you're like borderline above Papu. And like, I don't know. I don't know where to rate it. I don't know where to rate it. Like I feel
but you have to. It's the rules of Thinktwice. You have to rate it. I haven't even asked you, but you know what? Let's just shoot right into it.
You just want to rate, you just rate it right now?
Right now, are you putting a ring on it? Are you liking it but not sharing it? Or are you poo-pooing it?
I can't go between the two.
Nope, you cannot. There's 3 ratings, and there's only 3 ratings, and you must choose.
All right.
Don't hedge.
All right. If I had to hedge.
You don't no hedging.
All right, fine. Papu.
Oh my God. Can't believe it.
I mean, you
hated it.
You forced my hand.
You have really hurt this movie's feelings.
Yeah.
It's right in the room with you. It's signed. You know what? This movie is Gary, and you didn't invite it out to game night.
I like Gary. He's my favorite character.
I did like Gary too.
Yeah. Gary was great. He was the best character.
My 2 favorite characters.
And that's why I put on it. Gary's the best character, and we saw him the least, and everyone else sucked.
I don't think everyone else sucked. I think that Jason Bateman plays the same character in literally everything he's in.
Yeah.
Every single thing that he's in. I really liked Jesse Plemons, which was the guy who played Gary.
He was great.
And Lamorne Morris, who plays oh my gosh, literally the only character name I remember in this movie is Gary, but he plays Winston in New Girl. I mean, this is like no, I remember Brooks because he's the brother. The brother's name is Brooks.
Yep, too late.
I'm not poo-pooing it. You know what?
Here's the thing. You know, I did the same thing about Thor. Like, I understand it's a comedy, and I know I'm going to see a comedy. And it was like straddling the line.
Well, first of all, you did not know you were seeing a comedy when you went to go see Thor. You admitted that.
Yes.
And you were surprised and you were hurt because you got tricked into a movie.
Okay.
By the movie, and you didn't expect to see.
That's this is the past. Bring the past now.
Okay.
So Thor, it's not Thor. So game night is
now who's bringing up the past?
It's straddling the line of like action and comedy. Like it's trying to do a dance to balance both, right?
Yes. Yes, that is how I describe it.
And I guess mystery too, if you want to call mystery, because there's no suspense at all, really. There's zero suspense. So it's literally like comedy and action. There's no suspense. It's comedy and action, and the balance for me just wasn't right. Like it was just too much comedy. Like it was just.
There was too much comedy in the comedy movie.
Like the comedy action.
Oh, this is rich.
Like what's the name? The man what gets shot. I can't remember his name. He gets shot.
Jason Bateman.
Yeah,
the human being, Jason Bateman.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. And like, I understand it's supposed to be like funny, but like you're shot. Like, she makes like 2 cuts on the hole to make it like she gets bullet out, and it's like I understand it's funny, and she like extends it, but it's like he's bleeding out, like it's bleeding out the movie. It doesn't even matter. Like it's just no. Like
what?
It doesn't make sense to me. Like he's bleeding for like half the movie, and it doesn't hurt him. It's just like not there. Like the guy like literally like just like he's bleeding out on the.
He has a high pain threshold.
Okay, when he's on the laptop for Gary. He's literally bleeding on the carpet. All of the carpet is like a puddle of blood.
Bleeding on the dog. How can you not tell me that part was?
That was funny. It was funny, but it was like.
So all the parts were funny, but the movie as a whole wasn't.
I don't know. It didn't.
You didn't think it was funny when they were trying to clean out his wound and she gave him a squeaky toy?
Yeah, but it was okay. There were better funny parts. Maybe the movie was funny at parts, but you literally made me pick between.
Ollie, I didn't make you pick.
You did.
Podcast. The show made you pick. Okay. The show made you pick. All of our viewers and listeners want you to be decisive.
Okay. Well, okay? I think it's overrated.
You think being decisive is overrated?
No, I think this movie.
I think you do think that.
Yeah, I do actually. But I do believe this movie was overrated.
By who? By me, or just by the general public?
But general public, like, the movie was like, like it got good reviews, and I understand like it was a fine movie. It's not really a family movie. So,
No, it's
like,
not. Well, I actually think. I mean,
I guess it depends on the family.
I would take a 15-year-old to see this.
I mean, I'll take Leah. Well, yeah, I'll take Lily to see this.
You take Lily?
Yeah.
Lily's like 8.
Yeah, 7. I'll take her.
7? How is this not a family movie if you're going to take a 7-year-old?
Well, I'm different. But, like...
What? You literally cannot say this is not a family... If you think it's a family movie and you would take your 7-year-old...
I'm different, though. I'm not the average family man. I'm better. But anyways, I just didn't like the movie that much. Like, it's just...
I think you were trying to put this movie in a corner. You really want to hate it, but you really liked Jesse Plemons as Gary. He was really creepy and really sincere at the same time.
Gary was great, yes, but that's the thing. Like, he's a favorite character, and he was like had the least amount of camera time. That should say something. Like, if the character that has the least amount of camera time is your favorite character, then how is the movie good? Like,
Okay.
That should say something.
No. Who is your favorite character in Thor?
I remember. Was that bad? The hammer.
Oh my God. It's not the hammer. The hammer's not.
The hammer gets crushed. So like the Thor movie should get crushed. Helga's her favorite character.
First of all, Helga's not a character. It's Hela.
Same Helga.
And
Arnold,
and two, you said it was the rock guy. You thought he was funny.
He was funny.
Oh, he's barely in the movie.
Well, I poo-pooed that movie too. I literally poo-pooed that movie too. So you're confirming what I just said.
What movie did you think was good?
Annihilation.
In history. Okay. Who was your favorite character in that movie?
Oh no, that movie was so great though.
Better say the main character.
No,
or else...
I think the actual entity, the annihilation thing, whatever thing
what?
that was.
You only saw that for like 60
seconds.
No,
the whole thing is a whole. The whole thing.
That's a cop out.
The movie is so, guys. If you guys haven't seen Annihilation, this obviously isn't a spoiler for Annihilation. Go watch that. That movie is so good. Justin and I both put a ring on it. So much better than Game Night.
Double ring. It is. You know what? It is better, but you know what? It's a different movie. Okay. If you want to go to a movie and you want to not think,
you were saying this movie was suspenseful. No, Annihilation was suspenseful. This movie was not suspenseful at all. When was it suspenseful?
It's not okay. So maybe suspenseful isn't the right word.
Thank you.
You are someone that likes twists in movies. Agree or disagree?
It depends on the twist, but overall, yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Depends on the twist. Absolutely depends on the twist. Like, if it's like a cheesy twist, it's like whatever. Like, it's stupid. Like, I don't care. Like, if the twist ruins the movie. Did you not like the second twist in this movie? Obviously, the first twist, which is obvious, is Brooks, who's the brother, hires the agency, and then real people come in and kidnap him. Obviously, that's the first twist, but that one, going in pretty much. And then the second twist is that Gary set up this entire thing. You didn't like that twist? My favorite twist.
And don't tell me you saw that coming, because no one saw that coming.
I didn't see it coming. My favorite twist was the third twist, where he tries to claim that it's with a Barry. What's his name? Not Barry. I think the Flash. What's the guy's name? Baron? The brother?
I don't know what guy you're talking about.
The brother that's
Brooks.
The B guy. Mr. B. Brooks thinks that he says, "Oh yeah, get up." He tries to play it off.
He's like, "All right, Trevor, time to get up."
Yeah.
He's like, just kidding. That would be good though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That would have been good, but it wasn't. Because that was great because it was also near the end of the movie, and that's why that was great.
I think you hate comedies. I think you hate fun and laughter.
Oh man,
the laughter of children.
Man,
makes you angry.
You think that's true? You think that I'm deep down, I'm so broken that anytime I see comedy, I'm like, man, no one's like that.
Well, I mean, no, you did like Jumanji. You saw that twice.
That wasn't comedy. I guess that was comedy. That was great.
That was absolutely
great.
Comedy.
Yeah. See, Jumanji was good. Jumanji was good.
Understand movie genres?
I do.
Do you know which one goes?
I do. Jumanji was good though. Jumanji was great. That was a comedy action, and they balanced it like great.
Yes, I think that Jumanji was better than Game Night. That's true. I don't think I'm not writing this movie off. I think it's a good comedy. I think it's a movie you don't have to go in and think about. As an adult, you can appreciate a lot of the jokes. Is it the best movie I've ever seen? No, it's fine. But I didn't want my money back. I didn't want my time back, which is what I feel like is a successful movie. If either of those things are not true, that's when I'm going to poo-poo something. But I felt like my time was spent appropriately. It's a brisk hour and 40 minutes. The movie doesn't go on too long. It's not too short. It's funny in parts. It's got some good action.
Coming from the guy that gave... So what's your final ranking on this movie?
I'm going to like it, but I'm not going to share it.
The same ranking as Jumanji.
No, I like Jumanji.
You put a ring on Jumanji?
We didn't have the ranking system at Jumanji.
Okay. Would you put a ring on Jumanji?
Absolutely, I put a ring on Jumanji.
Okay, all right.
Jumanji was legitimately great.
Yeah, because that movie's gonna live for a while. Like this movie is not gonna live.
Know, that's what I've been saying.
Next year, you will forget this movie.
That is not true. I have a very good memory. You'll forget this movie.
I will absolutely forget this movie, and not because my memory's crap, but because this movie sucks.
I just don't think it sucks. I just don't. I could have done without a lot of the little subplots between the couples.
That was the best part. I loved how the main couple always honey, cute, honey, babe, honey. I like that because they're dying.
That's not a subplot.
It's not a subplot, but it's how they interact.
That's not a subplot at all.
Whatever. Listen, I like that. Okay. And then I like the plot between I can't remember their names. I'm so bad at these names. Where the girl, they were basically married since they were high school lovers.
Since they were 19.
Yeah. And
I thought the subplot was lame, but they made it funny.
That was hilarious. That was the best part.
When they got to the
Denzel Washington. See, I remember that. I don't remember anything. I remember names.
Lamar Morris does a phenomenal Denzel Washington impression, by the way, in this movie. It's fantastic.
Oh man, it was great.
I mean, I did think that part was funny because he gets so worked up over it, and
the whole movie.
And then when she tells the story, he's like, "Uh-oh,
sorry to bring it to
real disappointed."
That was great. The dynamic of all the couples. It's the two couples.
There's three couples.
Well,
just because the Irish lady and the
I guess they're
the blonde guy
were
a couple. They were still coupled together in this movie.
Well, to be kind of, but he also had a different girl previous to Game Night.
Oh my!
He did.
There was still a couple in the movie. In the film that we watched, there was literally still a couple. They were coupled off the entire movie.
Yeah, but even at the end, you were like, okay, she into whatever. No, whatever. You know what?
You're just poo-pooing it.
I am.
You're just poo-pooing it.
I've already said it.
Did you stay for the very end where they went through Gary's basement?
Absolutely not.
I actually think that was the best part of the movie. You didn't? Oh, you missed out.
I'm gonna kill you. What happened?
Oh, they so his plan, where he was put the whole thing together.
Yeah.
They went through his basement and showed his entire basement of how he went through and put everything together.
Oh man. Dang.
And it showed he had this storyboard basically where he would put everything together, and it linked the entire movie up during the credits. It was awesome.
Well, I kind of want to watch that, but
it was really well done. Yeah, especially you said that was your favorite character, and you didn't even want to see the best part about the favorite character.
That is how much I pooed it.
That's a shame.
There's always next time.
There's never next time. You're never going to see this movie again.
You're right.
You're not even going to remember we talked about it next week. I'm liking it, but not sharing it.
All right.
I did like it, but if it tweeted something out, I'm not gonna retweet it.
You're not.
I'm gonna click the little heart, but I'm not gonna retweet it.
All right, fair enough. I'm just gonna take a big poop on it.
You have done so.
Thank you.
You've done so, friend.
Thank you.
If you guys watch this movie, let us know what you thought about it at jparnell1, at Ali Aintrazi, at Thinktwice MTG on Twitter. Ali, do you have any other thoughts on Game Night before we move on? I dare ask.
No. Gary reminds me of the snail from SpongeBob, by the way.
Because his name's also Gary.
Well, also they both like almost like emotionless.
Are you sure it's not because his name's also Gary?
Probably. Moving on.
Great. All right. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to finally hit you with that question of the week that Ali attempted to spoil
like everything else.
About 20 minutes ago. We'll see you guys in just a minute. Ali, I would hate to make you wait any longer to say this question of the week.
Yeah, just you can just stop right there. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna let you finish, but
you're not letting me finish.
I believe the Raven Man is someone we know, because if it wasn't someone, if it was someone we didn't know, it's just like lame, man. Like, like how epic would it be if it was Ugin? If it was like the main character, even a side character like Ashok, we're introducing someone a side character from Theros is phenomenal too, or.
You're getting so excited. You're literally throwing
lids everywhere. Throwing pen lids everywhere. Yes. I think it is someone we know because that makes sense. Because, like, the person... That makes sense and it'd be a better story.
And see... Okay, so to clarify, question of the week for this week's episode of Think Twice... Is the Raven Man a character we know or a character we don't? Ollie thinks it's a character we know. I think it's a character we don't know, strangely for the same reasons that you think it's a character that we do know. I think it's going to be a better story if it's not someone we know, because I think they would have difficulty tying up how this would happen, how you would get this random character to be the Raven Man. I think we don't have enough information. I don't even think they know who the Raven Man is yet, and I think they're still trying to figure that out and trying to figure out how to put that into the story. So no, the Raven Man is not someone we know. It's going to be a new character that we're being introduced to, and that's going to make more sense in the story than it being Limdol or Leshrac or Neogen of Night's Reach.
I agree with that, but I think it's like it could be Ugin or even her brother or somebody else.
It's totally not her brother.
Okay, well, it could be Ugin.
Like I said, more likely to be Ugin than her brother. Okay, so...
What if it's Yawgmoth? Because Phyrexian's Yawgmoth...
No. That would be the worst.
That'd be great. It's someone we know. Actually, Yawgmoth doesn't make sense at all.
No, it doesn't. You're just now saying... Yeah. You're saying
names. I think
characters.
It's Ugin. I think it's someone we know. If that's someone we know, final answer.
I think it's someone we don't.
All right.
Okay. If you want to let us know what you think on our question of the week, you can do so at any of our Twitter handles. Ali, what is yours?
It's Ali Aintrazi.
And where else can people find you?
You can find me at gatheringmagic.com. My articles come up every Friday. I try to post decks I'm playing or brews I have, or even modern decks, brews. Check it out. This article, if you're listening on Saturday, the article's already up. It's about updates to my previous decks. Again, because I played a team event and I did really well with the Mastermind deck, so check it out.
Did really well with the Mastermind. You can let me know at jparnell1 on Twitter, and of course every Wednesday on StarCityGames.com and YouTube. Commander Versus. We just wrapped up our season, but if you like things, you should just subscribe to that channel so you don't miss anything. I'm just saying. And if you don't like things, you should still subscribe, because you might like something you didn't think you liked.
It's true.
I'm just saying. You can also, of course, contact the show at ThinkTwiceMTG on Twitter. And if you want to email us directly, thinktwicemtg@gmail.com. Now, if you want to find the show, you have three options. One is now becoming increasingly important, as some of you can see, because if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see our beautiful faces. As we said last week, we weren't sure if last week was going to be the first week where we were officially rolling out our vodcast format. As you can see now, you're too close.
Thank you.
Back it up. This is the first week we're going to be rolling out our vodcast format. So on YouTube, you can see our beautiful faces. If you just want to hear our beautiful voices instead, you can do so at SoundCloud and at iTunes. So, in addition to that, we have some more news, and it is linked very closely to our Patreon account, which is patreon.com/thinktwicemtg. We have several tiers, which you can support us at, which gets you some cool stuff. We have tokens on the way, which we're finishing up. They're going to look super awesome. We just sent out a group of playmats, actually.
Yes, exciting. They look great.
Yes, they do look great. If your name is Jeffrey T., William J., Caleb P., Paul M., or Daniel H., you have some playmats on the way. If you feel like you should be getting a playmat, I just didn't say who you were, you should check your email and or your Patreon account, because we've most likely tried to contact you to verify your address and have not heard back. So please do so. Because we reached, in the month of February, a support tier, or a goal for us, we're actually going to be doing an Ask Us Anything live. And we've decided that we're going to make this into a more special segment. Well, actually, more than a segment.
Yeah.
Our entire episode, episode 36 of Think Twice, is going to be live on Twitch next week. We will have the Twitch link in the show notes this week, so you can make sure that you are there, able to watch. But we're going to do two segments. We're going to do a kind of a more recent topic segment. Then we're going to do our Magic Story segment. And then our third segment, rather than a pop culture, is going to be an Ask Us Anything segment. This is going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern Time next Thursday, March 22nd.
Don't
now,
miss it.
We need your help going in, because we don't want to go in. We don't want to go in with no anything. So what we ask you to do, if you would be so kind, both our Patreon supporters and our listeners and viewers, we want questions from you. We want to have questions prepared that we can answer live. And of course, if we run out of questions, we can take questions from the chat on Twitch. We'll post on Patreon an opportunity for you to post questions for us. If you're a Patreon supporter, we are going to try to make sure we get to your questions first. If we run out of the Patreon questions, we're going to go to Twitter, and you'll see every day over the next week, we're going to remind people when this live episode is going to be happening. Questions you can submit to us that we can potentially answer live on the show. Again, this is going to be at our Think Twice Twitch page, which is going to be linked in the show notes, and it's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ollie, did I get everything?
Yes. Also, no, we are not looking to pull questions while we're streaming live. We really want to have your questions. Tweet at us, or Patreon message us, or post on Patreon. Or we'd much rather have your questions already there, so we know how we're answering. We don't want to do this. We're not looking to do this on the like.
If we need to, we will do it on the fly, but we'd like to have them sooner, because we feel like we're going to make a better product for you.
Yes.
If we can be more prepared with the questions, so we can go through them. And actually, if we have the questions ahead of time, we're actually going to be able to get through more questions, because we won't be spending time searching through the chat to find appropriate questions for us to answer. So, if you would like to be involved in that, again, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, submit your questions to us either on our Patreon or at any of us on Twitter, or in fact any other means you can find us on.
Come to my house, knock my house. I'll be here.
Yeah. Yep. If you know where Ollie lives, roll on up, let him know. But that is our big news. We have an announcement going up on our Patreon page that should be telling you even more information about what we just announced. This is something we're looking to do on a monthly basis. We did drop below the goal threshold to be able to do this live Ask Us Anything on a monthly basis. So if you guys are able to support us through Patreon to get us back up to that so we can do this, it obviously takes a lot more resources, because it becomes a full three-man production between myself, Ollie, and Director Choi to be able to pull this off and make it good. Yeah. So if you guys are able to support us through then to get us back to that level, that would be awesome. If not, we'll see you next time whenever we reach that level again. We'll still do it as long as we're at that level.
Yeah, just not two. We're still going to honor our two. We have two. We're still going to honor those, because we were at that tier for
2 months.
2 months. So definitely honor it.
For January, yeah, for January, at the end of January, we were at that goal, and then in February we were at that goal. So we will still get 2. If we're not at that goal in March, we'll just do the 2, and then we'll wait till we reach that goal again.
Yep.
Ollie, that's the show. That's the show for this week. We want to thank our Patreon supporters, especially the ones that we named out earlier. You guys are the ones that are helping us keep the lights on, literally and figuratively. We also, of course, want to thank our graphic designer, Amber West. You're seeing some of her work right now. You can find more of her work at amberwestdesign.com. We also want to thank our director and producer, John Che. And, of course, our Agent of Bolus producers, Josh Lyons and Daniel Hunt. We thank you guys very much. You guys are just as much a part of this show as we are, almost quite literally due to your support. You guys are freaking awesome.
Yes, obviously, thank you. I obviously don't know what to say besides thank you, because like it's so hard. Like seriously, you guys, like Justin said, you do help us out. You do keep this podcast going. You make us find new things to do for you guys, and so thank you. You guys are the MVPs. So
us doing this live show is the next step in trying to fulfill all the promises we've made, and we're getting there. You guys hit those goals a lot sooner than we were expecting, but we will get to everything that we said we were going to and more. So we don't want to add stuff on until we can do all the stuff we said we were going to do. So as soon as that happens, and we're getting really close, especially with the launch of the vodcast section that we're doing today, we're going to make the future a reality very, very soon. All right. Ollie, I love you. Thank you for being the best co-host on the entire planet that does a podcast called Thinktwice and is named Ali. There's no one else.
Wow,
like
you're right. There's nobody else. You are welcome.
There's nobody else like you.
You're welcome. Thanks, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.
I love you too. I love you guys. If you guys are watching on YouTube, Bo says hi. Woo. And that's it for me. I'll catch you guys later.